we are going to move on to Zayna Khayat, who's the future strategist at SE Health, protecting the future from the past to help people live and age at the home of their choice. Welcome, Zayna, and thank you for your help with this event as well. I will let you take it away.
Thank you, Maggie, and hi to everyone. I see lots of friends who I terribly miss hanging out in my house. As is indicated, I lead the futures team for SE Health, St. Elizabeth Healthcare. We're predominantly in, bringing health to people's homes, wherever home is, and focused predominantly on seniors and people as they age. And so just a few reflections in 5 minutes. My job as a futurist for the org is to look out and figure out what's going on so we can make smarter choices now so we can continue to deliver on mission. And one lens has been other global crises. And if you reflect on how the world changed from, different major disruptions, a lot of what enabled that change has been tech. Not only tech, but everything here in red. So massive product innovation that proliferated, that really was part of why the Allies won in World War II. We can credit to the war. The reason we're even doing this on the internet is because a world war happened. After 9/11, a lot of change of products and services and consumer behaviors and attitudes around privacy and security and travel. SARS really birthed Alibaba and all the kind of e-commerce type giants because a whole new pattern of consumption was created that people didn't really know about before. And then the financial crisis really, when jobs were gone, created a whole new gig economy, marketplaces like Airbnb and all your freelance and gig worker. And I would suggest, whereas each of these crises were contained and created a whole new layer of an economy on top of our industrial economy and our information economy, this one is like a composite of all of them. There are features of every major crisis: product innovation, surveillance and security and tech and data, et cetera. And so, many of you know my Future of Health talk, where we were on a journey where either, patients were the first force pulling us to a new system because the old model doesn't work. The second big driver was this imbalance between supply and demand. Translation, the business model no longer worked. And the third big force to the future was technology that didn't exist when we designed most of our systems of care. I would submit that COVID has just amplified all of those forces. So both pulling us to the future and pushing us out of an outdated model that doesn't serve. And, patients have a different behavior and attitude around the risk of contact. The demand and supply curves are completely out of whack for a whole bunch of things. And whereas technology before was pushing itself on the health system and the health system not being ready, now all of a sudden there's a pull. And so, there's lots of slogans about, what's happened to health innovation. And, I would say, these, 10 barriers that I teach an entire university course about have been smashed. And I love this quote from Dr. Saeed in Bangladesh around, the innovations coming out of our sector are the highest demand business concept in the world right now. And that, is unprecedented. So I'm not going to belabor it and kind of go through this slide, but all to say, as part of my work, kind of mining and sensing the signals and translating them so we can make smart choices, we've been keeping an inventory of what's happening, what's moving, what's not. And if I kind of take a little snapshot of that inventory, everything in red kind of has a tech component, where this kind of statement that more health and innovation happen in 10 days than 10 years, if not longer. But interestingly, the top of this slide is our own sector kind of moving fast, as Mark alluded to. But the bottom is every other sector that became a healthcare business overnight, either because they had to pivot their assets to bring new solutions like ventilators and sanitizer, or because they're now entering the sector. And so just kind of to end, we all know that a bunch of new things in green happened. And in my world of home care, and Adrian will get into, I think, a lot more, both digital as a channel or omni-channel, and then home replaced in-person and kind of facility-based medicine. The question now is, I think if we just let it go back, we're going to go back mostly to where we were, maybe a little bit of a settling. And what I encourage all of you as leaders and innovators in this sector is, as Mark said, restructure the system so that we can control the next normal and create, an experience of care that's 21st century and meets our patients and families and our clinicians in the communication channels and the place they want to be, and that's the home. So those are my reflections. We'll get into it in the breakout.